30 Days of Clarity, Day 6. And this quote stood out to me today, and it says, "You must unlearn what you have been programmed to believe since birth. That software no longer serves you if you want to live in a world where all things are possible." And that blows me away. It's a quote by Jacqueline Purcell, but it blows me away because I think of all of the things that I've been programmed to believe since birth, all of the things that are no longer serving me well. And for years of my life, I just lived those things without ever questioning them, knowing that they didn't feel right, knowing that they weren't working. But because I had been programmed to see the world a certain way or have a certain perspective, I just went off of that. And it made me think about how much of our lives are we trying to build based on somebody else's plan. Every single day, we get online, we read things, we listen to things, and we take them verbatim. Somebody says in order to be successful, you got to stay up all night. You got to grind. You can't sleep. You can't have a relationship. You don't have time for that. You got to be focused. And we try to build our lives. We try to take the individual vision that has been instilled in us from something greater, and we try to build that vision based on what somebody else says verbatim. And I'm not saying you can't learn from other people, but you have to get to the point to where you understand that some of the programming that you have is no longer serving you well. I think at some point you have to question that. I always say we come into this world as a blank canvas, and from the moment we come in, everybody, teachers, our parents, society, the neighborhood we grew up in, all of those things, they start to write on our canvas. They start to write on our chalkboard. They shape our perspectives. But at some point, you got to question if those things are working for you, because if they're not working and they don't feel right any longer, you got to be willing to change the way you think and change the way you believe, in spite of who may not understand it. And you have to have the confidence to say that I don't care if this is how 90% of the population does things or how they believe. If it doesn't work for me, I'm willing to be the 10% that doesn't do it that way, if that makes sense. So that's what I reflected on this day 6. I wanted to read you guys something from my book, The Art of Mastering You. I wrote this book some years back. But it says the objective here is not to lead you on the path in which I've traveled, nor carve out a path and persuade you to follow it. The purpose is to give guidelines, perspectives, and certain principles that will be effective as you carve out a path of your own. Any good teacher, any good person that you listen to should be giving you perspectives and guidelines and encouraging you to carve out a path of your own, not to follow their path verbatim. The lecturer and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson, I should say, chose to say it this way: do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. So with that being said, you guys, this is day 6. Continue this 30 days of clarity, and I'll talk to you soon.